Good morning, students. Now you understood which topic we are going to start. Yes, very important topic, letter writing. And student, there are two type of letters, formal and informal letter. And today I am going to take the formal letters. And what are the assessment tool of a formal letter? Yes, before starting it, we have to come to the tools. For assessment tool, first tool is content. Student, in the 7 marks, 3 marks have been given for content. It means the content which we are going to provide in our letter, it must be concise, it must be written on a pattern for what we are writing the letter. Our content must be good enough and it must convey the things for what it has been going to write. Now the second steps comes, it is accuracy. It is of 2 marks, and accuracy means the spelling, the word that you are using there, they must be accurate. They must be accurate according to the format, according to the language. And now comes the third step, that is expression. It is of 2 marks also. And in expression we have to write our ideas in such a way that they must express the things clearly. The things that we are going to write, that must be clear to our evaluators. Okay, now comes the next thing, that is the format of a formal letter. Student, there are 7 steps of a formal letter, and first of all is sender's address. While writing sender's address, you must be quite concise. I mean to say, direct the house number as here written B/43. Then comes your colony name, means Awas Vikas, and then comes your district name. After that comes our second step, that is date. And in writing the date, you must have to go direct to write the date. You need not to write dated and then it have to write. You have to write directly the date, and it must be in digit format. Means, for example, today's date we are taking 12 April 2020. So I have taken only 3 words of the month, APR only. Okay. Now comes our third step, that is receiver's address. Student, this receiver's address must be also concise like sender's address. It must be written perfectly well so that it must become clear to whom we are going to write. Now comes the subject. The subject is quite important in letter writing because it is the subject that makes clear to the examiner for what this letter has been written. It is a key to the letter, because sometimes it happens that we are not able to read the whole letter. It must be the subject that will tell us for what this letter has been written. Then comes the salutation. Obviously, when you are going to start your letter, you must have to use respectful word for the receivers so that he would pay attention to your letter. Now comes the main body of the letter. Your words which you are using for the letter, they must be quite respectful and it must start in a good manner. Then all the things must become clear through your letter, and this main body must convey each and every aspect of the problem for what you have written the letter or of the issue that you are going to describe there. Then comes the subscription. This is the last step of the letter, in which you have to conclude your letter, and also you have to write there thank you or thanking you, and in later on yours truly or sincerely. This is your 7th step. Now we are going for an example. Yes, for an example, I have selected letter to editor, and its question is like, you are Tanvi Srish of Safdarjung area, New Delhi, and you are extremely disturbed about the attack on old people living alone. Write a letter to the editor, the New Indian News, making people sensitive to the problem, and make suggestions to the people living alone and authorities to ensure that such attack do not take place. Okay, yes, as I told you earlier, first what will come? Yeah, very good. First of all, we have to write sender's address. It must be like H34. H is for house. Safdarjung Development Area, New Delhi. Then comes the date. You can see 3rd September 2019 here written. You can write 20 or any date must be there. Then the editor, then newspaper's name, and then the city name. Now comes the subject. You know, I have told you the subject must be quite concise and it must convey for what you have written the letters. Yes, what has been written here? Security of senior citizens. Then it comes the salutation, respected sir. Through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, I want to draw the kind attention of the public and government authorities towards the issue of the attack on old people living alone in my locality, Safdarjung Development Area, New Delhi. You know, student, what had been given in the question, we must have to put it into our letter. We need not to go here and there in search of what we have to write. Directly we have to write about the poems. Yes, now comes the second step. The attacks on old people living alone have become a serious problem nowadays. The old people in my area are no more secure. They are killed, beaten and tricked by notorious people. Sometimes they are robbed even in daytime. It has become very hard for them to survive. Hence, through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, I want to appeal public and government authorities to ensure the security to the senior citizens from any type of incidents. They should be given proper attention and care by the government and as well as by their family members. Now comes the subscription, as I told you, thanking you. Yours sincerely. Then comes the name. Yes, student, it was a model, it was an example for you, and you have learned all the 7 steps. Once more I will remind you. The starting means sender's address, yes, then the date, then receiver's address, and subject, then salutation, then main body, and after that comes the subscription. Okay, now it is our duty to more. Now comes our exercise time. You can understand that I have made another letter, but some things I have left in them. Yeah, very good. Yes, what must be first? What I have left? Very good. The date. I have left the date. Very good. And what have left next? Very good. Subject. Can anyone tell me what may be the lines that has been given there? Yes, through the columns of your esteemed newspaper, I want to draw the kind attention of the public and government authorities towards the issue of the attacks on old people. Very good. The next line, the attacks on old people living alone have become very common or a serious problem. And then it has become very hard for them to survive. Yes, and in there to ensure the safety and security of the people from any type of such incident. Very good, student. And what will have been left here? Yours, yours sincerely or your truly. Very good. You understood this format and you can complete it. Now we are going for next step. Yes. As you have written, now I have another question for you and you have to complete this letter. You can do it in your notebook also. Yes, question is, you are Raman or Ruhi as 34 Saket Bihar Kasipur. Write a letter to the editor of National Daily expressing concern about the misbehavior of some auto rickshaw drivers in your city. Okay, students, If there is anything, you can consult me. Yes, now you have to do this exercise. Thank you very much. Thank for today.